So hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming here with another Way of the Hunter video. Now this video is going to be a little bit of a different one. I want to talk about in this video the roadmap for Way of the Hunter and specifically talk about the future of rares/unique animals by taking a look at a couple of mission animals that I have found as I've been playing through the game and seen other people getting that are really cool. And yeah, I just actually want to talk about that because I think there's a lot of potential cool things that could be coming in the future. But talking about the roadmap. So this roadmap was posted a little while ago now, and you can see there's a lot of cool stuff here. So in the coming in hot, we saw save issues on the PS5 were going to be fixed, they were going to add an FOV slider, support for ultra-wide screens, and key binding changes. And as far as I know, that's already all happened, which is crazy. And then coming in slightly less hot, stability and gameplay improvements in multiplayer, disappearing and difficult to follow blood tracks being fixed, persistent audio bugs and issues with audio levels, performance optimization on all platforms, player model clipping through equipment in first person, colorblind options and image sharpness adjustments. Now, some of that I believe has already started to be implemented. The disappearing blood tracks, they have a partial fix for, I believe, at the moment, and I think a couple of the other things are being worked on if they haven't already been added and I've missed out on hearing about that. But I have seen so much information being posted in their Discord, on their various social media platforms, about the various fixes and things that they have been working on already. This game hasn't been even out for a month yet, and they are already working on fixing bugs, making improvements and changes that people were asking for straight away. I take my hat off to Nine Rocks Games. Honestly, the team has done such a fantastic job of getting on with fixing issues that have been affecting their players. They genuinely seem to really care about their player base, and it's so fantastic to see. Because I know, for example, the save issues with the PS5, that was a huge problem. But rather than, waiting to try and fix it, they got on that straight away. And I think they fixed it within a couple of days, if I remember correctly, which is crazy. I haven't seen such quick responses from a company that's just put out a game for a very long time. And the fact that you can go into their Discord, you can register feedback, you can register issues that are being found and talk about them, and it's very clear that they're listening and they will offer support. For example, with the save issues with the PS5, they gave a way that you could try and back up your save data in the meantime until they pushed out that fix, which came extremely quickly afterwards. And I know that I told someone about that when they told me that they'd had the save issue, and they actually managed to save their progress, I believe, because of the information that had been put out by the devs, which I just think it's just so fantastic to see, and to just see a company that genuinely seems to actually care about their product and be working on it as quickly as they are. Because when I saw coming in hot, I thought maybe a couple of weeks or so, and then it just happened out of the blue really quickly. And everything just seems to be happening really quickly in terms of updates and fixes. And I genuinely think that that's really impressive and encouraging to see. And honestly, I am just so pleased to see it. And I think that this alone means that Way of the Hunter has a very bright future, and it just makes me incredibly happy. Then looking at the coming soon section, there's some very exciting stuff in here. So additional performance optimization and bug fixing, so even more bug fixing, working on improvements even more. Support for DLSS on PC. A weapon pack. New binoculars. They're going to add ambient birds, which was some feedback that I saw from some people saying that the fact that there wasn't sort of ambient birds flying around took away from the immersion, so they've listened to that feedback, they're going to add them. There are going to be new missions, which people were asking for. New animals, like the brown bear. Now, the brown bear was accidentally added to the list of animals that would definitely be on release, and it wasn't quite ready, so they decided to hold it back until it was ready, so that's something that's going to be added. And actually, since the most recent update, I have heard people have been finding need zones and tracks for brown bear, which I feel is like a little bit of a teaser of them, getting closer to being ready, which I think is quite cool. And then we have unique/rare animals. Now that's what I'm going to be talking about for the rest of the video, so we'll come back to that one. And then on the horizon, new weapon types, a new vehicle, new ammo types and the ability to change caliber, new licensed rifles and equipment sets, new types of hunting gear, and the 2 DLC maps. I think that that is a very impressive roadmap. I am really, really impressed to see this. They have taken all the feedback that I have seen being given, and they are going to try and add all of it from what I can see. And this just makes me so excited, especially the unique/rare animals, because you guys will know, if you've ever been watching any of my videos, that rare animals and the rarest things to find in games are basically the things I like to go after, and rare animals to me are just really cool. Finding an albino or a melanistic or a piebald to me is just always incredibly special, and that's what I go after in the other hunting games I play. That's my favourite thing to find. So knowing that they're going to add those basically to free roam is really, really encouraging to hear. They did say that there was a handful of rare they said fur variations when it was asked about prior to release, but it turns out that what they meant were that there are some rare animals in the missions. For example, the melanistic bighorn that I included in one of my other videos. However, there are also some other unique and rare animals that you will find through doing missions. And basically that's what I wanted to take a look at in the rest of this video, as it may give us a little glimpse into what we may see in terms of rares and unique animals in the future. Now, starting off with this cutscene that's in one of the story missions, and trying not to give up too much of a spoiler as to where this actually is, a fox gets mentioned as being a rare melanistic fox called Cinnamon Sky, and you actually get to see Cinnamon Sky in this cutscene during one of the missions. Now, Cinnamon Sky is mentioned as being a very rare melanistic fox. However, I believe Cinnamon Sky to be a cross fox, which is a fox that has partial melanism. It's not entirely melanistic, otherwise it would be completely pure black, but it has, you know, darker fur, but it does have those other colours in there as well, like that orange that you saw around the shoulder region on Cinnamon Sky. Now, I think that having cross foxes as a potential rare would be really, really cool. I would love to see some really beautiful fur types like that available to find just as you're roaming around and hunting. I think that could be really cool. And I think they could also do something like silver foxes, which again is a melanistic form of the red fox, and I think that would also be really, really cool and really beautiful. The animal models are done so well in this game that I think rares are going to look really, really awesome. Now, things like the foxes and some of the other smaller animals could have some more detail in terms of the fur, but the overall models still look really, really good, and I'm just really excited to see what potential rares there could be. Imagine like a piebald fox in this game. I think it could be beautiful, or an albino. Just a pure white fox I think could look so stunning. Now, talking about unique animals rather than just specifically rares. So, as you can see on screen, we have some text here from one of the missions. This mission is on Transylvania, and basically it details a bit of a story about a red stag that has a gun stuck in its antlers. And I had seen other people talking about this mission, and when I finally managed to go and do it for myself, I was really excited. And this, to me, just fills my head with ideas about what else we could see in terms of unique animals. When I saw on the roadmap that it had rares/unique animals, it made me think that maybe there could be more than just rare fur types that we might end up seeing. And then when I was thinking about it, and then I remembered that I'd heard about this mission, I had to just come and do this mission and see what it was like for myself. Because finding a red deer with a gun in its antlers was such a cool mission, and, you know, following the sound of a gunshot to work out where the animal actually was. Now, of course, maybe we won't see deer randomly with guns in their antlers, but there are other possibilities. It's not unusual to hear of or see pictures of deer with things stuck in their antlers. During the rut, deer will thrash their antlers around in vegetation to try and get things onto their antlers to make their antlers look bigger. Now, normally that's going to be mud and grass and bracken, vegetation, just anything to try and make their antlers look bigger that's natural. But sometimes it ends up being things like barbed wire that they pick up, or fencing, bits of netting, all kinds of things. And then, of course, during the rut itself, sometimes you'll get stories where you'll get deer that get, as it's referred to as, locked up, where they get stuck together, and sometimes one of them will die, and you'll end up seeing one deer that's stuck to another. I've even seen a picture, it was of a bull elk that had actually obviously been fighting with another bull. The other bull had died as they had been locked up together for so long. The carcass of the other one had rotted away, and it just had the skull and antlers of another bull attached to its head, which was incredibly unusual to see. And I think, you know, if you saw something like that in game, I think that would be incredible as a trophy for in the lodge. And that kind of possibility is what this mission made me think of, basically. And I think that that would be really cool to see as a rare spawn. And in terms of the fact that we already have to do like herd management to manage the quality of our herds, in real life, if you see a stag or something that's in a bit of a bad way because it's got human materials wrapped around its antlers that maybe have got wrapped around its face as well, so it's preventing it from leading as good of a normal life as it should, then sometimes those animals do get culled out. I've seen it before, where, you know, a stag or a buck has got his antlers tied in, like, baling twine, so like a type of string, and then it's got caught around his face as well, and he can't basically survive like that, and so it ends up being one to take out. So maybe it could play into that as well. And now I know I'm thinking pretty deep here, but it would be an interesting aspect, I think. So, yeah, that's just what this mission made me think of. If they could put something as wild as a gun in the antlers of an animal like this red deer, then, you know, it, in my mind, wouldn't be too far-fetched to see barbed wire or netting or even natural materials like I was mentioning before, like lots of mud or grass or bracken just in the antlers of an animal in-game as a rare spawn. I think that could be really cool. And if you haven't seen pictures of things like red deer when they have absolutely covered their antlers in bits of natural vegetation that they can find, sometimes it gets to the point where it looks like they can barely see just because of how much stuff they've put onto their antlers. It's honestly quite entertaining. Some amazing pictures out there, so I definitely recommend looking those up if you've never seen them. But I just think that maybe we could see some interesting things in terms of unique animals and not just rares. And I'm not just saying things just like things stuck in antlers. Maybe we could see animals with missing, like a missing limb or a missing antler or a missing horn. Now, I know that red stag for the mission for the stag with a gun in its antlers was actually missing one of its antlers, but then you will have seen in the harvest screen that it did actually have both antlers. That is a bug, apparently, with the mission stag. Sometimes it spawns in with only one antler. But I think that would be cool if you would actually see sometimes an animal that's only got one antler. I think that could be a really, really cool thing. And then, of course, non-typicals. That's something I'd love to see in the game. That would just be awesome. But I think there's just a lot of potential. Now, talking about, you know, the possibility of missing limbs, etc., this mission leads on quite nicely with that. So you may have seen the mission text that I had up just a moment ago. To harvest Aldo, the 12-year-old black wolf missing one eye who lives in the mountains. Now, this was another mission on Transylvania that I was very excited to actually go and do. I'd seen other people doing it, and so I spent a lot of time trying to actually go there and do these missions, and finally I got to the point where I had unlocked this last mission in the set of 3 for this particular landowner, and you can see the black wolf there running amongst the pack. Now, I actually think that they might have been chasing around some chamois, because I didn't spook them. I definitely didn't spook them. I wasn't close enough, they hadn't gone alert, but they did start running off at the same time as a group of chamois. So unless the group of chamois spooked them, which I don't think is what happened, and it's just, to me, interesting that they did similar to the grey wolves over on Nez Perce Valley in that one encounter that I had, where they turned around and started coming back to where I had initially seen them. And you can see the black wolf there really, really stands out as a 2-star mature. He is absolutely stunning, but very, very noticeable in this pack. And to me, I think this is just such an incredibly cool sight, just seeing a very noticeable rare amongst the pack as they're walking in single file across this bit of a mountain here. It's just so awesome. I love seeing the wolves in the mountain areas as it is, but seeing a rare like that amongst this pack was just such an awesome sight, and I cannot wait for this, like, to see sights like this, but not mission animals. I am so excited for the day that we get the update where rare and unique animals spawn in free roam as just natural spawns the way that everything else does, because I think that that's so important for replayability in a game like this, and I can't wait to try and get some of those rares, and I bet they're going to be really hard to find in this game and a real achievement. And trying to get 5-star rares is going to be something that I'm going to definitely be doing, so I can't wait for all of that. I'm just so excited. Now, something that I was particularly interested to see was the detail for this mission wolf, and when we take a closer look at him here in photo mode, as you will have seen, he was very close in front of me, so I decided to use photo mode to get an even closer look and some beautiful screenshots of this guy. There's just so much detail in this model, I think it's really cool. So this is obviously meant to be a melanistic wolf, but he's supposed to be an old wolf as well. So seeing the grey on the muzzle and around the eyes and sort of just going onto the top of the head there, and some grey flecks throughout the coat, I think is really cool, because like I said, this is supposed to be a 12-year-old wolf, which for the wild is quite an old wolf. Looking online at average lifespans for grey wolves, it says anywhere between 8 and 13 years, and a 13-year-old wolf in the wild would be a very old wolf. So at 12 years old, this guy is really getting on, and seeing that actually detailed by showing the grey fur, I think that's so incredibly cool. And of course, it's got this massive scar over its eye, which is just such a cool thing to actually see a scar on an animal in this game. I hope we see that with more things in the future. I want to see, you know, stags and bucks and bulls, all kinds of things just completely scarred up from fighting. If they're like the dominant one in that area, I'd love to see one that's just covered in scars because it is the one that's fighting all the time. A bit like the black bighorn from the one mission on Nez Perce Valley. That would have been cool if that was a really scarred up animal, because it mentioned that it was a very aggressive individual. So I'd love to see more scars on animals in the future, especially with the older matures. I think that could be something really cool to actually see. Now, just taking a quick look at that shot placement, obviously that shot placement wasn't ideal, it's quite far back in the lungs, still got through to both lungs and dropped him on the spot, but ideally I would have liked to have had that shot much further forward, much more towards the heart there, but as you saw, was still plenty to bring him down and drop him on the spot. And taking a look at the harvest screen for this guy, he looks just as cool in the harvest screen as he did there, sort of out in the environment, and honestly, this just has me so excited about the potential for cool rares and unique animals in this game that aren't part of the missions. And I do end up taxing this wolf so that we can take an even closer look in the trophy lodge, but I never end up keeping mission animals in my trophy lodge. I just don't really find them as cool as having animals that I found just completely out in the wild, but I think you guys know what I mean, just out by chance. I always find that that's much cooler to me than an animal that's guaranteed to spawn in. But I had to put this in the trophy lodge and just take an even closer look at it, because he is incredibly stunning. That is just a beautiful looking rare. And the fact that it's missing the one eye, I just think is so cool. And because now it's dead and it's in the trophy lodge, I thought this would be kind of the ideal opportunity to really zoom in on like the face and stuff and take a look at the details. Don't know why I felt a bit odd about doing that while it was still alive using the photo mode, but here you can see that they've actually gone to the detail of removing the eyeball from the model so that you can have like the completely missing eye. They haven't just closed the eyelids over it. It's actually completely missing, which I think is some incredible detail, and I hope we see more stuff like this in the future. Because imagine finding a rare wolf like this that's the oldest mature in the pack and it's got a scar over its eye like this and it's just completely missing that eye. I think that's some awesome level of detail. I've seen it in games before, they'll say, oh, the animal's missing an eye, and it's literally just got its eyelids closed over that one eye. So seeing that extra detail of them actually removing part of the model there, I think is really cool. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Not a particularly long one, but I just wanted to talk about some of the potential things we might see from this game in the future. I think that this game has an incredibly bright future. Even since I started making and recording for this video, there's been another update and another patch to fix more issues, which is just absolutely fantastic. I think if Nine Rocks Games keep on at the pace that they have been with bringing us fixes and updates, that this game is just going to continue to be absolutely incredible. I'm so impressed with how they've done so far, and yeah, seeing the different mission animals, knowing that they already have sort of these models and these ideas, I am just so excited to see what they actually come up with. I think we could end up seeing some amazing, amazing animals out there to actually go and find, and that to me is incredibly exciting. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you so much for all your support as always. It really does mean everything to me. Thank you, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.